What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today on this Saturday before Christmas? Was it four more days to go until Christmas Day? So hope everybody has their Christmas presents bought and just getting final touches on all that stuff. I know I have one package coming Christmas Eve, so hopefully it shows up. It's for my wife, so hopefully it shows up. And you know what? I got a little beef with Amazon right now. I bought her something. Well, she saw it, and if she's watching it, she loves koala bears. So I bought her a pair of koala pajamas. Really cool. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool. And it was coming. I think it got here Friday. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be in a brown package. Everything's going to be fine. No, it came in a clear bag, and they put it on our front porch. And my wife texts me at work, and she says, "Thanks for the. Did you buy me some pajamas?" I'm like, maybe. So they totally blew it. Oh well. But what are you going to do about it? So anyway, hope everybody's doing good. 4 more days left until Christmas, thank goodness, and then we all get a day off, which is really not a day off. It's a time for family, and it's going to be fun. But yeah, get a little break from the madness for a week, and then we got New Year's, and then January is here, and nothing's going on in January. So anyway, we have a fantastic show for you tonight. I have Terry Mosby backstage. We are going to talk aliens. We're going to talk ghosts. It's going to be fun. I got a lot of questions about this stuff. So this was kind of my aliens were kind of and UFOs were kind of my first love getting into the paranormal stuff. So this is going to be fun. I got some stuff for Terry. But first, let's get this on here because I know. Make sure that's the right one. Before we bring Terry up here. Here we go. Make sure there's still time to, there's still plenty of time. Tickets are still on sale for the Crossing Realms Conference. UFOs, paranormal stuff, and cryptids are going to be talked about. We have a huge list of guest speakers, and I'll get to them in just a second. Terry's going to be there too. It's going to be September 19th and 20th next year. I still have 4 days to get Christmas presents. So buy tickets for the conference for the paranormal loved one in your life. It's going to be at the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri, which is going to be right next door to the Ray County Museum. I blanked for a second there. I forgot the name of the place. Ray County Museum, fantastic place to investigate. Last time we were there, and Terry can attest to this, it was off the charts fun. So a lot of fun stuff going on there. So we're going to have a meet and greet on Friday night from, I believe, 6 to 9. All the guest speakers and everybody from Texas Front Porch is going to be there. So you can come and meet and talk with all of us. And then we're going to have the conference on Saturday. Here is all of the guest speakers. So we have Josh Hurd, we have Heather Moser, Frankie and Dan from the Haunted Garage, Tex Wesson. It's going to be the Master of Ceremonies, and I apologize, Tex, I got you covered. There he is. Ooh, yeah, that's better. He's going to get me on that one. Greg Ogles is going to be there. Dr. Dean Bertram's going to be there. Will Lunsford, Ronald Murphy, and Lady Ann Celine are going to be talking about the Fae. So it's going to be fun. Those are all the speakers. Dana Stricker is going to be there as a special guest. Ken Gerhard's going to be there. Brent Thomas is also going to be there as a special guest. So come on out. We have more special guests that we're adding. Unfortunately, I don't have that list on me right now. So Krista has that list. Well, I think I have it somewhere too. But anyway, it's going to be fun. Get your tickets. The ghost hunt, the last I heard, we had either 4 or 2 tickets left for the ghost hunt. We're not adding any more because all of the guest speakers and all of the special guests are going to be ghost hunting too. And we don't want that big of a crowd. So we started out with 16 or 18 tickets, and we're down to 4. So let's sell that out before the end of the year. That would be pretty cool. So let's quick say hi to everybody that's in here. Hi, Sonny. Appreciate you coming. Hey, Ristel. Scott, how you doing? John Temprine, how you doing, sir? Ristel's here. Denise, how you doing, guys? Gary Spike Sr., thank you for coming. Oh, and I pinned the link for the conference tickets in chat that Gary had posted. So thank you, Gary, for doing that. Scott's here. How you doing, sir? I said I twisted. Moon at Noon is here. How you doing, Moon? Sinfully Wicked's here. I think she said she was doing some crafts. No, it wasn't her. Can't remember who it was. Pam's here. How you doing, Pam? Got some awesome mods here tonight. Anyway, oh yeah, Audacious Amber's here. She's saying hi because she's doing crafts and have paint all over her hands. So you don't want to get paint on your keyboard. So appreciate everybody for showing up. Hey, Aaron's here. How you doing? Appreciate everybody for showing up. So anyway, we're going to bring Terry up here. We're going to have a fun show here.
Hi there.
How you doing, Terry?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Thank you for taking time from your Saturday to join us today.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. And funny story, I was sending you messages like crazy, and I never got a response. I'm like, what's going on? I was apparently your Facebook page got hacked.
Yeah, my original one did.
And I was sending messages to the hacked person. Luckily, that person didn't come on. But we got to figure it out. We got here, so glad you're here. So let's start out talking about Ray County music. I just got finished talking about the conference. Getting feedback, yeah, there's a little bit on. I couldn't figure out where it's all. Gary has a volume turned off. I'm not sure, but I think we'll be okay. So how long have you been going out to Ray County?
Probably for about 6-7 years now.
And the last time we were all there, it was off the chart.
I have never seen Ray County that active, and I've even thought about it. I don't know if it's like, I think the group of people that you investigate with sometimes brings in extra energy or activity for that. But yeah, that was the most active I have ever seen Ray County.
Do you have YouTube on right now?
No, I'm just on through the stream.
Echoes coming. Well, you can understand.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Paul has no idea what's going on.
Oh, the activity at Ray County when we were there, that was crazy.
So this is the second time that I've investigated with you, and both times you've had the God helmet. We've kind of explained the God helmet. Can you kind of explain where you got it and what it does?
Yeah, I got mine from KD Stafford, that's actually been on several paranormal shows. Him and I's been friends for several years, and I actually have like the 3rd helmet that he built. It's just a matter of, it has these little connectors and sensors on the sides of your head, and it's actually sending EMF into your brain. So it's not like, maybe it's not the safest. It was originally built by Dr. Persinger, who used it for ADHD and mentally handicapped to kids and adults back in the day. And it kind of like, the best way I can put it is it puts you into like a meditative state real quick. Like when you put it on, you can get there faster than if you just set 20 minutes and meditate. Several people that I have been on investigations with, you just see amazing things with it. When you know, it's just like, you don't know. I mean, I think it just takes you to a different level.
And one time we were down there, and you were seeing in the room, which was across the hall, and whatever anything you saw was interacting with somebody in the hallway.
Yeah.
So is that common for you to see?
I can usually see like spirits with it on, but that's the first time that I ever had an experience. Like I saw a little girl sitting at the bottom of the steps that you go down to get in the basement at Ray County. And the kids that were down there in that middle room in front of those jail cells were actually interacting with that little girl. So I don't know if I saw her sitting there and she got up when they came in that area. But I mean, we could hear them talking to her and screaming in that other room while we were sitting on the end.
Another place, the other place that I investigated with you at Ashmore is, and that was my ghost hunt, and that was fantastic. How did you get involved with Rob and Terry?
I actually met Rob and Terry like probably in 2010. He actually lives at, it's called the R Theater. It's in Auburn, Illinois, which is like 15 minutes from Springfield. He used to have that open. That is his personal residence, but he used to have groups up there to investigate the R Theater. And then like a few years after that, he bought Ashmore State. So I just kind of followed him up there, and I let teams in sometimes on the weekends, and just been going up there for about 10 years now.
And you're real close, aren't you?
Ashmore is like a 3.5 hour drive from my house.
Oh, so
yeah.
How did you get involved in the
paranormal? Actually started. Well, I'm kind of like you. I actually started out in UFOs back in the 70s because that was like a big thing back in those days. It was UFOs, the Loch Ness Monster, and Bigfoot. And so kind of went that way for a while, and then kind of got back into it in my early 20s. And that's when like all the shows and everybody started coming on TV. So, just started out with the old camera that you had to have your film developed to see if you even caught anything, and the reel-to-reel tapes, and just evolved from that.
What's a place that you've had really good success finding EVPs or shadow people?
It has to be Ashmore, and I don't know if it's because I've been up there. I mean, I've been there hundreds of times over all these years now, so it's just like, do they know me when I come in there? Or, I mean, I've seen everything there is to see. Ashmore has it, so it's just one of those places that I've spent a lot of time, but we don't have the calls like we used to. But probably about 15 years ago, when all the shows was on TV, our team always got like private residents, and we've got some amazing evidence from private homes that we have done over the years. And I don't know, it's because it's not been overdone, or, they were eager to come out and talk to us and visit when we were there. But yeah, there's some private residents that I still remember.
What all did you find there?
We've caught full operations. We went to this little bitty farmhouse, and it was full operations of an older folks. It was like grandma and grandpa that used to live there, and now the son lived in the house. And I mean, we've seen things move on their own. We actually just done an old farmhouse. It's been about 6 months ago. It was during the summer. We went up there, and they were scared to live there because the grandkids would come over and see a shadow of a man standing in the closet. And we've got EVPs where grandpa comes through and says, hey, I'm still here. He's just watching over the kids. So, it's kind of cool when you do the private residence and you kind of make the family feel more at home, rather than scared, because they realize it's just somebody just hanging around.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing really negative,
right?
They really have nothing. Somebody had a question. Can you explain what it is behind you?
Oh, that is Harold. That actually comes from the art theater. It's an Egyptian mummy holding out a tray that Rob and Terry had bought at Salem, Massachusetts, and he auctioned it off this summer. So I've liked Harold ever since I've been going to the art theater. So now Harold's part of the house.
I mean, that's a cool backdrop.
Yeah, he's not 5 feet tall, probably. Yeah.
I used to have a stuffed animal of a back here where the tree is. So back to the investigation and stuff. Do you prefer doing private investigations or the Ashmore stuff?
I kind of like to go to the big name ones just to say that I can be there. I've been there, but I've also heard like some of them, it's kind of like, do they get tired of people showing up every night? Because, I've had friends of mine go to different places and go, well, we didn't get anything. But, then again, they don't, just because we show up to investigate don't mean they're going to come out and visit. So I would rather do the private cases, because it's usually, you're helping people, or, we've helped a lot of people. I had one lady that was ready to move out, and it was just like her best friend, I mean, we actually got EVPs of her saying her name of who she was. And so, I mean, that's kind of beneficial and kind of makes you happy that you can help out certain people too.
Yeah. I mean, that's gotta feel good. I mean, you can maybe get rid of something, or at least what they're trying to do.
Right.
That's gotta be pretty good.
Just bring them comfort. Like the farmhouse we did this summer, it was just comfort, because I mean, the lady was scared for the grandkids, because I mean, it's scary to them because they were all like under 4. So, they would wake up and just see this big shadow guy standing in the corner of their bedroom and take off screaming. And they were doing some remodeling at the time, and I think that kind of stirs them up as well. And we haven't heard back from her, because we told her she had problems. She could always call us and we would come back. So we haven't heard from her. So hopefully everybody got settled in.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Somebody also asked, like,
if what?
If you're a psychic.
No. I wish I was, but yeah, no, I don't have that talent.
And you're not
I can usually tell, like, and I don't know if I've been doing it so long, like I can usually feel presence if it's in the building, but as far as psychic or where I can see stuff, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. Can you do me one favor?
Sure.
Can you got the volume down?
Yeah, I'm actually on my phone and I have it turned all the way off.
So Randy's on here. He's saying we might get settings. Can you do me a favor on settings at the bottom of the screen? Can you actually keep the settings on there?
I can't see it. I have it on default.
What is there mic settings that well, I think hopefully she's going to come back and we can get it fixed. Well, we will see. Now I'm fine. Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand what that was. And she had me the volume completely down on her phone. So Very interesting. She killed her feed by accident. So how's everybody doing? Hope your December's going good. I cannot wait until Christmas is over. Now's a good time to plug some shows. I'm going to try and go through the lineup by memory. There she is. Randy, Longhorns won. I'm great. You there? Can you hear me?
Now I can't hear you, though. I don't know what I did.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? There's no echo, but she can't hear me. Howdy, Greg. Well, she sounded really good, but she couldn't hear me. So I'm wondering if her output, and if you can hear me, Terry, the speaker output should probably be on. I don't know what it would be on. Can you hear me? Oh,
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Well, the echo's clear.
I can barely hear you.
Echo's back.
Echo's back.
Yeah. Do you have headphones?
I don't real handy. Back on.
Okay. So Terry's on her phone. So she could always here. You know what? I'm going to send her a message. Where's she at? Okay, let's bring her back on here. Okay, still have the echo. If you want to, Terry, if you want to call me, and I'll just do the interview on the phone. That might be better.
Okay.
Okay, I'll send you my number.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we'll do it that way. Whoops. Okay. Okay, I just sent you my number. Now she's frozen. That was weird. Okay, here she is. Are you there?
Is that better?
Oh, no, I can't hear you. Okay, let's do this. I am going to take my speakers off.
I had trouble the last time I was almost Kristen.
There we go. That's better. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot better. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, can you guys all hear everything? Oh, no one's responding yet. Okay. Hey, Ivy, how you doing? Hey, Greg Ogles is here. Okay, so we're going to do the interview here. We're talking with Terry Mosby on the phone. Everybody can hear. This is much better. Okay, cool. Where were we? Do you remember?
Back at Ashmore and just like private cases and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you were saying that you prefer private cases over, well, not necessarily, but it's a good.
It's got a good balance. I mean, it kind of keeps you. I mean, I think the private cases you get more evidence sometimes, just because you have never been there. But recently, I did go with Krista and them to that Emos Village in Marthasville, and I mean that is a huge place that hasn't been investigated that many times. And I mean the activity that we got there that night was incredible. Even
on the I don't know if it was on the live stream, but what Krista shared with me, you guys were in one building and you had caught a holler or something outside. I mean, you're ghost hunting and you get possible cryptid. How amazing is that?
Well, that's actually like, I guess there's Bigfoot sightings like on some country road 2 miles from there. And this village that we went to is like, I mean, we're talking 800 acres and it's all surrounded by trees. So yeah, we were like actually wrapping up for the evening, and there's like a gateway that connects 2 buildings together with the windows are kind of broken out. But I always leave my recorders going until I put my stuff away practically. And we just caught, I mean, it is a primal scream when we were walking across there. We just all stopped and looked at one another.
Yeah, that was obviously not a human or anything. That was, and Krista said she sent the audio to a couple people, and yeah, that was, they said it wasn't a coyote or anything.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. Like Krista said, she wants to go back there during the day and kind of look around.
Yeah, I think they're going to, because also it goes straight up a hill behind the buildings, but there's like 4 cemeteries on that property, and I guess they're up on those hills because we didn't see anywhere we were at.
Hang on.
So yeah, they're supposed to go back and do some cryptid hunting.
Yeah, that would be cool to see if they can get anything. And I might try, and if it's on a time when I can go, I might try and tag along with that. So that would be kind of cool.
That place is crazy.
Yeah, I was supposed to go that night, but I think something came up with some friends. So that would be cool to see. And I want to get back there.
My team's gonna rent it, so we'll make sure when we get a date, I'll send you an invite.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I would love, I mean, it's close too. I mean, 10 minutes from Krista's house, probably about 45 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I saw that place actually about 5 years ago going to another investigation, and it just catches your eye because it's all huge 4-story limestone buildings. And I'm like, what was that? But when we came home, GPS took us another way. So then I couldn't remember where we were at because it's literally out in the middle of nowhere.
Would you ever consider buying like a place like an Ashmore Estate or Ray County or the Emmaus Village? Would you ever consider buying a place like that?
Yeah, if I was younger, I sure would. I mean, what a job to have, you know?
Yeah, no kidding.
It is expensive, though. I mean, it would take a lot of money because I know I've seen Robin. I mean, when Robin bought Ashmore Estates, that place was falling in, and there's no doubt in my mind if he didn't come through and put all the money that he's put in it over the years, it wouldn't be standing today. So, I mean, you are talking a lot of responsibility and a lot of money to renovate and keep those roofs on and that kind of thing.
And to still keep it looking like it's not dilapidated or anything, right, but to make it look quote unquote spooky still.
Right.
I'm sure there would be a lot of work to go into that. And you have to have the money for it. You have to have the patience too, I would think too.
Well, like he's gave up like every weekend probably for the last 10 years. So, you know, he still works. So it's just like when, you know, you got to make sure that on the weekends, that's what you want to do because something always needs to be repaired or looked after or something. Yeah.
What is one location, non-private case that you've done that you outside of Ashmore that you absolutely love going back to?
I would say it would have to be Ray County. I mean, I've probably been there maybe 10 times, but when you go back and have like the weekend that we had the last time when you were there, it's like, okay, well, what did I miss the first 5 times I was there? Or like, is the activity picking up more because Kathy maybe got a different relic? Or I mean, I know a lot of people like, why do you keep going back there? But why wouldn't? If you keep getting evidence and you can build, you know, you just keep building on what you've already got.
Yeah. That was, were you there when I got scratched?
Yeah, that was that night. I think it was that last time we were there.
I don't know. It was.
Because didn't you spend the night in there? Like I went back to the hotel, but you guys stayed.
This was back in October, I think.
Oh, nope. I wasn't at that one.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I got scratched at Ray County. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of connected to it now, I guess. But
and it's crazy how you go to some of these places and it just keeps calling you back. I mean, that's how Ashmore was. It was like the first time I was at Ashmore, I went home probably 2 days, and it's like, wonder when I'll be back up there again. You know, and Ray County kind of does it too, you know, which Ray County and Ashmore were both polar farms. So it's just like, and we used to have one real close to me, like, oh, it's only probably an hour from here, that we knew the lady that could get us in there. So, and her husband had passed away, and she loved paranormal. So like every Saturday night, if we didn't have anything to do, we would all go over and hang out with Nancy at this big poor farm over in Missouri. So it was like, do I have a thing for poor farms? And I'm picking up like activity from them. But I mean, that place was crazy too.
You know, one thing that I kind of experienced after Ashmore, I keep wanting to go back, like you said. I kind of go back to, you know, once you get one tattoo, you got to get a second one, and you got to keep going with it. And you know, that, to me, that's kind of the same thing with investigations like that, don't you think?
Yeah, I have a lot of different ones. We've had like about 5 spots that we go to every chance we can.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just crazy stuff. So you talking about where else have you done the God's Helmet at? I know you did it at Ashmore and Ray County.
Ray County, I've done it at Melbourne Manor. We've had it up at Melbourne Manor. I've took it to a lot of private cases, and I tell you what I'm doing just kind of on my own, just to see what I got. It's been like, I've probably had 10 different people wear it since I've had it. And I mean, I don't use it a lot just because of what you're doing with it and the power that it puts off in your brain. But I've had 2 or 3 people that have seen aliens with it. So now I'm kind of like, I want to go on a real good UFO kind of thing and wear it like out in the field and see what you get from it.
And
so,
the one that Greg Ogles was wearing it at Ray County, and he saw an alien.
Yeah, he saw an alien. And then another guy actually at Ashmore State saw an alien. And then another friend of mine has seen an alien while wearing it. And it was in a private residence. So I'm like, I'm not sure why the aliens are coming through there. That is weird. And I actually just won the real Frank's box from Frank Sumption. I don't know if you've seen it on my Facebook page, but Robin Terry had actually auctioned one off for a fundraiser. And I just went and picked that up actually last weekend. And Frank built those to communicate with aliens. So I'm kind of like going to do the Frank Sumption box along with the God's Helmet and then like film that. Yeah. So that's what I want to do when it gets warmer. That's what I got planned.
I need to come up and hang out with you. Yeah. That's fun.
We might do it in September. I mean, we can plan on that, you know, after hours too.
Yeah.
It'd be dark out there on that one side, so you never know.
Yeah. And you know, at Ashmore, you have one of those big laser beams. Actually, not a big laser beam. That you know, I'm afraid to get one of those because you're not supposed to shoot point it at an airplane. Yeah, I mean, you got to watch what you're doing, but I mean, we've got good results with it. You know, there's other UFO teams out there that does it, so yeah, you just got to be careful with it. What all have you seen using just that laser?
We've seen like flashbacks, like I have pointed it like at, you know, there's so many stars when you get out there outside the city limits. And even like I live outside the city limits, so I can pretty well go to my backyard. It's kind of cool. Like when you shoot that beam at what you think is a star and it blinks back, like I'll blink it twice and it blinks back twice at me. But the coolest thing that ever happened it's probably been 2 years. Kristen and Brandy and I was doing an event at Melbourne Manor, and she's like, "Oh, let's go outside and see and look for UFOs." And I happened to have the laser pointer out there, and we actually just walked across the alley from Melbourne Manor. It was behind like a restaurant thing, and they had picnic tables, and we're watching these stars and the airplanes fly by. And I pointed it; it was just like at a bright. It looked like a star, but it was actually like more twinkly than the other stars. And there was 5 of us, or nobody would ever believe this. I pointed it and shot the laser at it a couple of times, and it actually looked like 5 little stars came out of this big one, and like one came out of time, one like came at the top right, and then one come out like at the top center, and one come out the bottom, and it like worked its way around. So we're all just sitting there, like, was it a mothership and the little ships were coming out, or was it a portal and we're witnessing things coming and going? I don't know. It was really cool, and I'm just so glad that there was 5 of us sitting there.
Yeah,
because everybody saw it. It's like there's no denying, and we're all like, what is it? Well, I can't tell you it was a UFO, but that's not normal.
Yeah. That's one thing that I don't know if I would like to see one. I mean, at a distance like that would look like a star or something like that would be fine to watch. But I don't know about, having one come down close like the backdrop we have here. I don't know.
I'll say it. I'm just crazy. There's a big field that I keep telling my husband, I'm like, if you ever come home and I'm gone and all my stuff's here, it's because they finally came. I could not pass up. Like, I'm telling you, if a UFO landed in the backyard, I would just run and jump and get on it, not knowing what's going to happen. But I'm that curious, and I guess that obsessed with what's going on out there. I've done so much research. Like, how do you explain all those cave carvings and stuff of aliens? They actually have like people that look like they're in a spacesuit that is 10,000 years old. Where did that come from?
Exactly.
And those landing strips that's over there in Peru, that's on top of a mountain, the rock formations of the runway on this, I forget how high the mountain is, but the rocks are not even native to that land. Like, how did those big rocks go up there to make that form of that eagle on this runway path on top of a mountain?
Yeah. And if I watch Skinwalker Ranch a lot, and I watch a lot of documentaries too, and stuff on aliens, on everything. And really, this has been going on since probably the dawn of time. Yeah. Don't you think?
Beginning, yeah. And when you get into the Anunnaki, you're going to go down that rabbit hole and spend months there. It's a race that there's like, the conspiracy thing is they developed us for whatever reason and put us on this planet to see what we're going to do. And my theory is, why are they here? I think they're trying to save us because of nuclear weapons and all the craziness going in the world. I don't think they want this planet to be like blown to pieces. So
yeah.
So nobody knows really why they're here. But when you could go back through all that evidence and you can't explain all the evidence that we have. There's even paintings from the Bible that there's little spaceships in the corner of those paintings if you look hard enough. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. So a couple of or actually a few of the documentaries that I've been watching, say UFO encounters over the nuclear power plants, over nuclear weapon sites for the military, and actually shutting those down. Yeah. How scary is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
If they can control that, what else can they do?
Right. Right.
And do you think it's just, them showing us that they can do this, or trying to protect us?
Well, my thought on that is that they wanted to tromp us in the ground and destroy us. They're obviously more powerful and smarter than we are. So I don't think they're here to like overrun us. I seriously think they're here trying to save the planet.
And, like you said before, I think that they have kind of like us wanting to go to Mars. Maybe they put civilization here. Maybe they're, like you said, maybe they're watching us and, seeing how we mess up this planet.
Well, they haven't learned their lesson,
Yeah.
Let's try this next group. I don't know. They're not doing too much better.
Now, I'd kind of like to get your opinion on this. I had a friend up in Alaska who's a pilot, and he saw something up there while he was flying by an active volcano. And it almost looked kind of like a cloud formation with something in it, a little black thing that could be something in it. And I happened to watch a TV show, and they had the exact same little cloud formation. But you know how when you see the clouds move across the sky, they kind of change shape. This didn't change shape at all. And this TV show had almost the exact same image. Obviously, it was from somebody in England or something, and not the guy from Alaska. But they said that it could have been kind of a portal, and I wish I had the picture on my computer right now. But he also said that it's not uncommon to see things coming out of an active volcano, like the side of a volcano, an alien craft coming out of there, or something coming out of the side of the volcano. What are your thoughts on them possibly have a base in volcanoes or in mountains or something like that?
Well, I have actually seen some of those pictures of the same thing on that. So are they watching? I don't know if they're like watching the activity, or do they know when it's going to explode, or what they're watching. But I think, and I've seen some documentaries, and it kind of sounds far-fetched that whether it's like hidden openings or they fly into the side of like a rock formation. And I've actually, it hasn't been that long ago, they're talking about they're hiding in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So, once again, it's like, we don't know, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, if anybody watches Skinwalker Ranch TV show, I can't remember what channel it's on. They have footage of some kind of object, white light or something, going into one part of the mesa, and then something coming out of another part of the mesa, and it disappears, in between. So maybe there's something in a mesa or in the ground or something that they can get to that we can't see.
Well, they have that radioactive always coming out of the top of that, in those boulders up there too. So yeah. They have to be hiding somewhere.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of them are underwater too.
I was just going to mention that
I've been researching that, and there's just, if you go back to like the 40s and 50s and all the naval reports that are out there where they just see the lights under the water and then they shoot out, or they'll just drop down under the water. Like, we don't know what's under there.
Yeah, that's one area of this planet that we really haven't explored. I don't know the percentage of it, but we can't get down to the really deep part of the oceans. Right. And what better place to hide in the canyons underwater where we can't get to?
Who's gonna see you under there coming and going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
well, I don't know if did you ever watch the Project Blue Book when it was on TV? That's how that show ended. It's like the guy wrecked, and he was like in a little submarine thing, and he went down the side of the cliff, and he got to the very bottom, and there was like a whole like underwater alien city under there, and then they never did make the next season.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Ended that. Yeah, that's a good show. It was on like 2 seasons. So if you ever catch it and Netflix for the weekend kind of thing, that's how that one ended.
And that's Project Blue Book?
Yeah, it was a show that was on. It's called Project Blue Book. Okay. And they had some interesting things on there. It was like these people, like in the country, like if a UFO crashed, they showed you like how the Men in Black showed up and shut them down, offered them money to not say anything and that kind of thing. So it's just like, we can go down that rabbit hole too. The government, I think, knows way more than what they're telling. They give us those little tidbits of those studies that they have. We just had one a month ago, but they don't really tell you nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're not going to let out the big dark secrets. So
no. Maybe they're protecting us or think they're protecting us. I think there's a whole lot more going on that we don't know. You have all of Area 51 and stuff.
MJ12 and all of those groups that are out there. It's just like, yeah.
And like you said, there's so much going on that
I did have this is an interesting story. I was in Walmart getting some tires put on my car, and this older gentleman recognized me from Facebook because his wife followed me, and he was actually a World War II veteran, and he flew on the bomber planes where he sat down like in that little pit with the gun, and he got to telling me stories of like all kinds of like lights and spacecrafts that they would see during the war when they were out for World War II in those old bomber planes.
You know, if anybody in chat knows a pilot from, well, anywhere, if they don't have to be a military pilot or anything, I would love to talk to them if they have any kind of stories to tell, because I'm sure pilots have seen, whether it's commercial or military pilots, I'm sure they've seen stuff. Yeah. And, you know, back in the, I don't know, maybe 60s, maybe beyond that, you had all these pilots with encounter stories that their employers just didn't want them to come out about.
Right.
And I guess for fear that they would lose their jobs or something, and they didn't. And excuse me. And now all of a sudden it seems like the last 20 years or so, maybe things have changed and they're starting to come out and talk about their experiences more.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit more open, but I also hear on the backside of that a lot of them are told not to share either. So
yeah,
I think they're still held to some degree of what they can and can't talk about.
Hi, Grandeezer. Yeah, you know, I get it too, that, you know, maybe some of the big name airlines or whatever might not want, hey, our pilot saw UFO. Come fly with us. You can experience UFO up in the big blue sky. You can experience UFOs while you're flying wherever you're going. Yeah, but you know, it seems like it's interesting more, and you know, those the Tic Tac videos that the Navy has disclosed.
Yeah, that was the Navy. Those were interesting.
Yeah, what do you think of those?
Well, there's no way to explain them. I mean, when you go, I've done a lot of research on the Tic Tac ones, and I also study some of the older stuff. The only bad thing about today is so much of that can be faked with AI. You can't believe nothing. You know, the videos you rather got to scrutinize because, okay, well, is that real or fake kind of stuff? So I do a lot of research on the older cases. Just, you know, when you get in there and the G-force and the speeds that they're going and the way they can turn on a dime, you just can't explain it away.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing for me, that you know, people see these light forms or whatever, you know, flying through the sky at unbelievable speeds, all of a sudden stop on a dime, and they're going to say that, well, I don't know what that is. That's not a UFO or anything. What else could it be?
Right. Yeah, when you can't, you know, we don't know what it is, and nobody has all the answers, but it's just like when you can't explain it away. And I mean, you won't believe the calls I get. Hey, Terry, you need to go out and look up in the sky to the east because I see this light. When Starlink flies over, oh, there's a whole bunch of UFOs up in the air. No, that's satellites. It's cool. It is cool to see it fly over.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was out there the other night, and you can see satellites with the naked eye. I mean, I was watching 2 or 3 of them moving. But I tell you what, 4 summers ago, and I actually heard it on another podcast, we would go outside every time, between 9 and 9:15, and these one light at a time would fly over, and they would all come to a certain spot in the sky and disappear. I didn't see no opening or a portal or anything like that, but I mean, they would come from all different directions in the sky and just disappear. And we watched this every night for 2 months.
Really?
And then we've never seen it again. Yeah, it was in the east sky here from Quincy, right off the deck of my house. It's
wow.
Okay, that's not normal. I don't know what that is. Because at first, my husband would watch the dogs and he'd be like, one of them lights are out there. And I'm like, it's a satellite. And then I would go out there and he's like, no, they disappear in this certain spot. And they did. So, and I heard it. And the other podcast or whatever I was listening to heard it on, it was in the middle of the Big Dipper. Now, I didn't pay attention to that. It didn't even dawn on me to go, but yeah. So, and it was long after we had seen them, so I didn't know if that's what I was seeing, and they were disappearing in the middle of the Big Dipper. But they did come from all different directions and disappear in the same spot.
Now, what are your thoughts on how they get here? Do you think it's just a continuous flight from wherever they're at to here, or have they discovered some kind of wormhole or
I
something
think
to get
it's
here?
got to be a wormhole. I mean, I don't see how they could cross the miles and get like the energy or the gas or whatever those things run off of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, and get here that fast, or are we watching something that flew here 100 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and that kind of gets back to the question: Are they just us in the future?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's another couple days
Yeah.
for a topic there, but yeah, this stuff has always interested me, and I remember in grade school just reading books and stuff on this stuff, and it just fascinates me. And I've always thought, even from a young age, that this universe is so big and so vast that there's no way we are the only life form around.
It's not just us out there. Yeah.
No, there
And then
can't
you
be.
go back to all the evidence, you go back to all those carvings and the runways. I can remember like being 6, and back in those days, that would have been like the early 70s. My grandma would watch the skies, and they couldn't fake stuff. We didn't have the military airplanes and crafts like we do now. I mean, so much of that stuff out there now, we have it. I mean, there's rumors that we have UFOs, we have the technology, we supposedly have beings in places that the government's studying. So, I mean, I listen to a lot of Dr. Greer, and he supposedly has connections where he can back this information up. So it's like we have the technology now, but like back in the 70s and 80s, I don't think we did. And if you see something fly across the sky and stop on a dime and go the other way, I don't think we can do that. So,
well, maybe we did, and I mean, we just were or some level they were just testing it, and it finally they perfected it or whatever, and it finally came out. And like you said, I completely agree with that they have something captured, and they might have reverse engineer it or something, and that's how we're getting these spy planes and who knows what else. And you know what, why not keep it a secret from your enemies?
Oh, I think you would have to. I mean, if that falls in the wrong hands, you would have to.
Yeah. Somebody told me one time that's how we got microwave ovens.
I've heard that too.
Oh, good. I'm glad somebody else heard that.
And then it's like they talk about the technology of like how we were from like the 1500s to like 1920, and then look at the last 70 or 80 years. I mean, the technology and the stuff that has exploded since the 19th century even is just like, where did we get that smart that fast?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then here's another whole rabbit hole. Like back at, there is rumors that Eisenhower made a deal with the aliens. And if you go down, Jackie Gleason and Nixon and all of them were friends, and they've actually been to bases where they saw aliens. If that's true, what if they did give us technology?
I had a guest on, and I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember her name, but it was sometime last year. I'm trying to remember this. Her husband or her ex-husband was in some kind of program or something. It wasn't government, but he worked alongside, she said, he worked alongside of aliens, and they would go to conferences, and there would be all kinds of different alien species in these conferences and stuff. And come to find out that her ex-husband's in jail now.
Oh.
So I'm like, I don't know what to think of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's stories of that. I mean, we will probably never see proof. I hope I do in my lifetime. Just go, ha! I told you it was real. Because I'm sure my husband gets tired of hearing all my theories sometimes. But it's just like, I mean, what are they hiding? What are they afraid of? If they don't have alien bodies somewhere, then What they'll shoot you if you walk on Area 51. They will. You were going to die if you jump that fence.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever
got there.
Have you ever been out near Area 51?
I have not been near it, but there is this guy that used to be in the Kansas City area that is into UFOs. His name is Rupert, and he actually gave me a rock that he had picked up off of the Area 51.
Really?
That's the closest I have. Yeah, he was actually, he went to Skinwalker Ranch too, but he was out in that area and picked up the rock. Yeah.
Well,
So it might not be directly off the base, but it's real close.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to go out there and see the gates around it. I wouldn't even want to attempt to get out there. But that would be pretty cool. I mean,
well, there's actually an old documentary like this would have come from the 80s. I can remember watching. It was this guy that had like a trailer, and he was real close to Area 51. And he had been doing research and shooting video for like 10 years. And he left to go into town one day, and he came back, and somebody had like destroyed his trailer and took like 5 computer systems, and all of his stuff was gone.
whoa.
And it was like, did he get too close? And then if you start reading all these people that was connected with Eisenhower, they said there's a rumor John F. Kennedy was going to come forward and tell the world. And Marilyn Monroe, he supposedly told all the secrets to Marilyn Monroe. So, I mean, it all depends on what everybody believes, because there's a huge rabbit hole out there.
And, I mean, that nowadays you can't, you don't know what to believe. I mean, we did one exercise in school one time where you lined up a bunch of people, you whispered something in the first person's ear, and by the time you get to the end, it's completely different. So yeah, I don't know what to. That's weird. Sherry just commented on here. You guys hear like a squeak noise. Was it Paul's mic? Did anybody hear a squeak?
I didn't.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, Big Brother's probably listening to our conversation.
Yeah. This will get shut down. I'm waiting for my power to go off, actually.
Right.
That would be something.
Actually, I don't know. Do you know who Terry Lovelace is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he is out of Texas, and actually the only reason I found out the story was the Kling brothers was supposed to do a documentary on him, and long story short, he was in the military, and him and his friend just got this inkling to go camping, and while they were there, they like busted up through areas they weren't supposed to be in, and they camped in this area, and they saw this triangle come down. They were taken away up in a spaceship, and they remember being like, the aliens brought them back, and they remember like waking up in their tent, but like their boots were on the wrong feet and untied, their clothes were all disheveled, and when they looked out, they could see the aliens boarding back onto the craft, and they were sunburnt so bad that they had to go to the hospital. Well, the men in black came to them, and these guys were best friends, and they sent the one friend to Japan, and he ended up committing suicide years later, but they were not to have contact with one another or anything. And it's called The Incident at Devil's Den. And it happened down by Leavenworth, Missouri. It was in Missouri, southern Missouri, that this happened in. And I mean, if half of this book is true, it's mind-blowing.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, if you ever want to pick up that book, and I've never met him. I've talked to him a few times, been on podcasts with him a couple of times, but I would just and he believes, and here's the other theory, that the moon is hollow and aliens and humans work together inside the moon. And he was supposedly taken there.
That's interesting. I mean, I've heard the rumor.
There's video out there, but then again, you're looking at AI. I mean, there was like last year, there was some photos going around where they actually had crafts going into the craters and coming out of the moon. So yeah,
I've heard that rumor too, that there's bases on the moon.
On the dark side of the moon.
What a great album that was. Oh no, I gotta listen to that after this. Get a little Pink Floyd going later. Shelley had a question, and I saw her in chat, and I had started this question. This was back from when you were talking about the encounter that Krista had at was it Malvern?
Yeah.
So the question was the lights that came out of that one spaceship that you think you saw. Did they act like they were doing maneuvers or anything?
The way they shot off is the way they took out of the sky. Like one came out like at 2 o'clock, and I mean it went up, and then the one that came out like at 3 o'clock, it just shot across the sky sideways. So it's just like they were almost like they were dropping into the atmosphere. Maybe it's kind of like what we thought. It was, so like we didn't. That's why we didn't know if we like saw a mothership and they were coming out, or like they came through a portal, and that's just how they dropped into where we could see it. Or yeah, we weren't sure, but I mean, they flew off at a fast rate of speed. Like we could see like halfway across the sky, and they were just gone.
You know, the more I get into this stuff, the more I wonder how accurate Star Wars and Star Trek really are. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, even the so we're not supposed to say that one word, the D word, that those are going around. I mean, in was it The Empire Strikes Back, when those little things that search the planet that Han Solo shoots down. I mean, that could be what we're dealing with too. I mean,
could be.
Yeah, I mean, George was it George Lucas? Yeah, George Lucas.
Yeah,
George. I mean, he must have been getting on something there.
Something we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Randy, they're called probes. That's what they were called.
The only thing about the UFO and aliens, it all depends on how far deep you want to go. I mean, there's so much stuff out there, and especially like I go through all the old stuff because you're like, I'm thinking, well, that could have been faked maybe back in that day. And I mean, you start researching these old cases where, you know, what did they have to gain? You know, or some of them has lost their livelihood because they've lost their job because people thought they were crazy. Like, why would you come forward and tell that story if you didn't solidly believe that it happened? You know,
do you think that nowadays, the last 10-15 years, whatever, that the subject of UFOs and aliens is kind of easing up, and people are more comfortable coming out and talking about their experiences from years ago?
Oh yeah, you can even talk about it. In the 80s or 90s, people thought you were crazy, and it was probably worse before that.
Yeah. I can't remember what the program was that I was watching, but they were talking about another alien crash in New Mexico. I think it was like right after Roswell.
Well, there was actually nobody about it. Roswell was in 1947. There was a crash in Cape Girardeau, Missouri in 1941.
1941.
And it's not, I mean, the city, you can look up, and there's been a couple small books written about it, but it's not really talked about, and like they don't embrace it and like try and draw in like revenue like Roswell does, because the 75th reunion, I think, was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and they kind of like had a parade, but it's not, you know, it's not overdone. And that is a very interesting case. I mean, the guy told his daughter on his deathbed what really happened.
Yeah.
Because he was sworn to keep it a secret.
Yeah. And it was a preacher going out to a crash site that they thought it was an aircraft that crashed.
Thought it was a plane crash, so they called him in to give last rites because there were 3 bodies on this craft. And then when he got there, he noticed like hieroglyphics on the dashboard that he had never seen. The craft was actually busted open, and they were like little 3-foot little beings that they actually pulled out of there. And then the next thing he knows is like, here come the military, and he was whisked away and sworn to secrecy, and he wasn't supposed to tell anybody. Yeah.
And this was
an interesting case.
Oh yeah. I've done a little bit of research on that one, and that's just fascinating, you know, right here in my backyard, pretty much.
Are you close to Piedmont? Because Piedmont's been named the
UFO capital of Missouri.
UFO capital, yeah. I want to get down there this summer.
I was going to actually go down there sometime and do a show down there.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I've never had the chance to get down there, and I was actually going to go down there on my days off right now, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays, once the holidays are over. We're going to go down there sometime and see if I can talk to a few people or something, and just do some live shows from down there, and see what's going on, because I mean, it sounds like they have a similar setup to Roswell, where there's all kinds of UFO museums and stuff like that to do down there.
Yeah, I think it's just started, so I think it's kind of new. But yeah, because they had like a parade, or they had like a weekend event down there last year, and something. I think I had an investigation, so I didn't get to go. But yeah, I'd love to get down there. So
in case you guys are wondering, down in Piedmont, Missouri, that there's a lake called Clearwater Lake, I think it's called. And there's a lot of rumors. There's a dam right there. There's a lot of rumors that UFO activity comes in and out of that lake. So again, aliens coming in and out of the water. That would be kind of cool. And even out in the Great Lakes up in Michigan, up north. UFOs coming in and out of there.
I think that's a good place to start looking. I mean, I think that's where they're at. A lot of them are at.
I wonder if anybody's ever got a scuba license just to go UFO hunting. I don't know that I would want to go that far, but
you'd probably have to go pretty darn deep to find them, would be my thing.
Yeah, and that's probably too deep to go scuba. Although, I mean, lakes I wouldn't think are that deep.
Well, yeah, they couldn't be that deep.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Maybe we should go out to Piedmont sometime and just kind of poke around and see.
Brandy's down that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do that.
We're gonna road trip. Yeah. So I can't remember. I think I asked this before. Have you seen? I know I didn't ask this one. Have you? Oh, maybe I did. I don't know. Have you actually seen a craft? I don't want to say up close, but outside of a dot across the sky?
Yeah, I've seen 3 in my lifetime, and probably one was like when I was a little kid, so I was probably about 10, and then I saw one in my 20s, and then it has been probably about 6 or 7 years ago. We were in Jerseyville because there is a place down there that's a good investigation spot. It was called the Cheney Mansion. So me and a friend of mine was leaving Cheney Mansion, and you go about to hit the highway again. You're probably on a stretch of 2-lane highway that's not very busy for about 30 miles. So we're like going down the highway at 3 o'clock in the morning going home, and we see like these red lights up in the distance. But it was literally above the trees on the side of the road. So we get up there and we think it's a helicopter because it's just sitting there. So we get on top of it, and it is this huge, like all I can describe it, it had to be the size of a football field. A black triangle had a red light on every corner of it, and it was just sitting above the tree line. I stopped in the middle of the highway and rolled down the window because there's nobody out there. And me and Denise are like watching this thing. It's not making no noise, and it like rotates on its axis a little bit to where it points one of the triangle corners away from us. And within a split second, it was gone. And it's like, wow. We're sitting there looking. We probably looked at it for a good 2 minutes before it actually moved. Did we think of picking up our phones and videoing that? So then we're like talking all the way home. It's like, dude, and a lot of the stuff is like people think they use telepathy to communicate with you because like aliens don't. You see these where people have had actual contact with them and they don't see their lips moving. So, or they send you telepathy and it was like, okay, well, you want to see us. Like we never even had the thought to pick up our phones and video it or take a picture of it. This thing was probably maybe 100 foot away.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that kind of raises the question that, and I've heard this from several other people too, that they don't think to pick up their phone and start recording. Everybody has their phone with them these days. We were just sitting there with our mouths hanging open because we couldn't believe what we were seeing because we thought it was a helicopter from a distance. It's just like, what's a helicopter doing above them trees just sitting there? You know? And then when you get there, we could actually see that huge black triangle in the sky. Do you think that somehow they were not letting you get your camera?
I think so. Yeah. I think it comes to the point, okay, well, you got us, but we're
Yeah.
not gonna let you get a picture of us.
Yeah.
Because the other thought, like Denise, why don't we pick up our phones? You know, like as soon as it was gone, that was the thought that pops in my head. Why didn't I pick up my phone?
Yeah. And you know, it's everybody has their phone nowadays. Everybody see, oh, look at the beautiful sunset. Let me quick get my phone and take a quick picture of it.
That was crazy.
Yeah. And
we talked about that all the way home. It's like, Denise, why didn't you pick up your phone? And that was our thing. It's like, I didn't even think to pick up my phone. That's what we just kept saying over and over. It's like, we blew our chance to fame.
Yeah, I really think that, you know, between that and, you know, a lot of Bigfoot encounters, you know, people forget to pick up their phone and take a picture of it. I think it's more along the lines of them not wanting us to get pictures of them.
Oh, I do too. You know, we've talked about that with Bigfoot. I think, like, if you go out there and you're armed with cameras and video cameras, it's almost like, do they pick up on that? Because the real good cases that people actually witness a Bigfoot, it's like they were out there, like maybe fishing or they were hunting. They didn't have walking through the woods with their camera in their hand. You know, so it's just like, do they know that you're armed with that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Or you know, are we throwing off some kind of telepathy in the forest that, hey, I got my 8 cameras packed up and I'm going to shoot some video of a Bigfoot today?
I guess we look like tourists walking through Disney World or something like that.
Yeah.
Have the big old.
But, you know, that's kind of like how I ghost hunt. When I like go on an investigation, I usually walk the building and get a feel for it, and I'll go get a chair and just like sit down in a spot that I feel drawn to, and it's just like, let them come to me, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
and really, it's their location.
right.
We're just visiting it. I mean,
busted in. So I mean, that's the closest of the UFO I've ever seen. The other ones were off in a distance, but you could definitely, like, I saw a silver disc in my 20s. But I mean, it was off across several fields, but it was big enough that you could tell it wasn't an airplane and it didn't have any wings.
And you didn't hear any sound or anything?
Nothing.
No propulsion system that you could tell. Yeah, that, you know, that, and again, that is very common when you hear UFO encounters, that you see these triangle objects with lights on the corners and no propulsion system that they can hear or see or anything. So yeah, it's crazy. I guess Shelley Montgomery made a comment on here. No one will touch that video for some reason. She sent me a video that I should probably send this video to you if that's okay with you, Shelley.
Yeah.
She sent me a video that she took out of her backyard or someplace, and she saw like a black dot in the sky, and all of a sudden it started moving across. So she sent it to me, and I was able to enhance it. But then when I zoomed in really close to it, all of a sudden that one dot that we saw, I saw like 10 other ones going in different directions.
Oh, wow.
And when you slow it down to like 1% speed, you see all kinds of weird stuff. I'm gonna have to send that to you.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
I think I still have it.
Well, and I've heard like there's a big increase in sightings like around Kansas City, Springfield in my area. That's only like an hour and a half from me. The Springfield area has been seeing. So it's just like, I don't know what's bringing up the activity, but it seems to be in the last year, there seems to be a lot more out there. But I think people are starting to look up too. So.
Yeah. And you know, I said this before on I don't know what show I was on. But, you know, I'm driving up to the stoplight and I'm looking at the car next to me, and almost every person that I see in their car is on their phone, looking down on their phone, or if they're walking down the sidewalk or something, they're on their phone.
Right.
You know, put the phone down and maybe look up. You'll see maybe you'll see a UFO or something too.
Yeah. I mean, they're out there flying, and it's amazing what you see. I mean, you and I both have dogs, so like it might be 2-3 o'clock in the morning that I'm out there, and I've caught some spectacular stuff just out there, you know, on the hillside outside the city limits, just watching stuff fly across, you know, there's no way it could be a plane because it's going too fast.
Yeah. You know, I've often sat outside, and I mentioned this to Greg one time that, you know, in the summertime, I'd lay in the pool and just kind of close my eyes and say, you know, I would love to see something just, you know, appear in the sky for me or something. And he's like, well, you know, kind of be careful what you wish for there. But, you know, at night, sometimes I go out there and I just kind of look up, and, you know, I see a plane or something. I see something moving across the sky, and okay, and I see it flashing like the planes do. And I'm like, oh, shoot.
Right.
So,
right.
But
if you sit there long enough, that's what I tell everybody. It's just like I do the same thing. Grab a lawn chair, just go plunk it down there in the middle of the yard so you can see all four ways of direction, and just sit there and watch what flies over. You know, that might be a fun summer, maybe not in the wintertime, but in the summertime, if you have a pool or something, just go out and lay in the pool at 2 o'clock in the morning. Your neighbors might think you're nuts, but you know, is there a, I mean, we talk about going out to see stuff at night. Is there really a better time than others? I mean, people see them during the day. Yeah, it's almost like investigating. I think you just got to take the time. I mean, like you said, everybody's so busy. Everybody's staring at their phones. It's just like, you know, it's almost like investigating. Most people don't investigate during the night, you know, I mean, during the day. It's like, go out and, I mean, because especially like schools, you know, you think like schools and hospitals and poorhouses, they were all active during the day, because at night you didn't have electric. So, you know, when it was dark, you went to sleep. So I think it's the same thing, you know, with UFOs. You just got to take the time to find a quiet spot and shut down and just look for them. And just be patient. Yeah. And be sober and have your camera. Have your camera, yeah. Well, Terry, this has been an awesome conversation that we've had. I'm so glad that I finally realized that I was communicating with the hacked Terry Mosby. And I finally got the right one. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on here, and we're gonna have to definitely have you back on. And anytime. Yeah, and I know Krista would have loved to have been here, but she had family Christmas to do. So, you know, I guess it's okay. It's family, I guess. I mean, well, you know, she had to just leave us alone. And, you know, we all say that we're all family too. So, you know, we are. Yeah. I've met a lot of good friends over the years. I will say that. That's, you know, I hate to keep going back to that and sounding like a broken record, but everybody that I talk to, and well, I shouldn't say everybody, most everybody that I talk to in this field that we're in, everybody has been so accommodating and so nice, and you know, not ultra competitive or anything, and we're all doing the same thing, and it's just incredible. And speaking of incredible, I wanted to share something on here. Moon at Noon, and she put on here, quitting tobacco is hard. I'm on my 25th year of tomorrow being my first day of stopping. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. I've never had that habit, and I'm glad I never did. But I've heard so much that it's hard to quit. So I'm glad that Moon at Noon did quit. So good job. So anyway, we have gotten pretty close to the hour and a half mark. So we had a little rough start with technical issues, but we got them solved and had a good time, I think. So. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the invite. Oh, no problem. We'll have to get something together and do a road trip either to the village, or definitely get out and do some UFO hunting this spring and summer. Oh, definitely. Okay. So all right. Hang on here for just a second. Okay. I wanted to say thanks to everybody that was in chat. I was holding the phone with one hand, so it's kind of hard for me to type and say hi to everybody.
I'll say a real quick hi to Red Edge Savage, Mickey G. Thank you for coming in. Phil Funk, thank you for coming in here, Phil. Jason Finch, how you doing, sir? I've had a long day at work. Yes, it's been a busy day. And happy birthday, Phil. Hi, Jilly. How you doing? Let's see here. Wendy, how you doing? Wendy's here. Shelly's here. And hi to everybody else that I might have missed. It was hard to type and with one hand. So everybody, this will be, I'm not going to do a show Tuesday, Christmas Eve. So Tuesday's Christmas Eve, right? Yeah. So I'm not going to be doing a show. I'm going to be working like crazy. So everybody have a Merry Christmas. Be safe out there, and just have fun with family, friends, whatever you decide to do. Have fun with it, and just enjoy the time off. And a Grandizer. And then I will be back next Saturday, the 28th. I don't have a guest, and I'm not going to have a guest. It's going to be hopefully me and Krista. I might do an open mic, and just, kind of come in. We're going to have fun, maybe do like a trivia thing, just have some, it doesn't have to be paranormal, just have a fun night between the holidays where we're not doing anything crazy, just everybody hanging out, having a good time. Maybe we have a few laughs. So hope to see everybody then. Have a happy and very safe holiday season, and we will see you all next Saturday. Good night, everybody.